think it could still be a joy at the end, because, then maybe the military might turn up and say, well, now, you guys have the information, or what kind of information do you have? But there is a risk of disloyalty because, when individuals have a pre-existing relationship with non-state groups, there are rules and regulations in how to deal with non-state groups, So to have people who have loyalty that are trusted by the non-state groups and people that are trusted by the government is very important. So I think looking at this, people like Mama Boko Haram, who has been dealing with Boko Haram since, the early 2000s, even before they became violent, Ahmed Bolori recently, and Ahmed Salkida, who has been a journalist, working with the group, even before the group became violent. So I think, this declaration of them being wanted, I see it as a positive thing. I don't necessarily see it. I know there has been an overwhelming criticism of, why the army declared them wanted, which is wrong.
Why do you say positive stuff?
In the sense that, yes.
Are these guys not likely to lose confidence in the Nigerian government or the Nigerian army? On their eventual release,
yes.
Will Boko Haram still be able to trust these guys? Because Boko Haram will not be able to determine what these guys have told the government.
That is the good news.
And the government,
yes.
These guys probably may have not told the government anything.
Yes.
The Boko Haram will be suspicious.
No.
The government will be suspicious.
Let me make that point. Let me just make that point. Let me just come to the point. That is the key point. If Boko Haram hears that these guys have been declared wanted because they have information which they have not given to the government,
yes,
and they've been picked up, that gives Boko Haram the trust that whatever information they've given to these guys, they've kept it close to their chest. So it gives them that comfort that, these people that we've trusted.
Release of this guy, will Boko Haram still be able to trust this guy? Like, we don't know what you've gone to tell the government.
They will trust them because they've trusted them for the past, Mama Boko Haram has been there for the past 10 years.
They have never been declared wanted.
They have. Well, Barrister Aisha Wakil has been arrested so many times by the Nigerian army and the Nigerian government. She's been released, so yes.
I think there's something else that we need to understand about the dynamic of Nigerian politics. I've been a student of politics. I understand how this works. Some of the things that the video reveals, which is a very serious indictment of people that have claimed that they've worked with Boko Haram. These individuals are saying, nobody has worked for us, we are not engaging with any of those people that claim to be working with us, we only talk to journalists. In other words, everybody knows that a journalist is somebody that is unbiased, that is neutral, because there's no monetary desire in them. They're just doing their profession that they love so much. Now, the individuals who have been indicted by the Boko Haram are not going to be sitting down and saying, oh yes, bring it on, we're happy with it. So some of this interplay that we're seeing might actually have been triggered by some of these individuals. I don't know who they are, but one of the things that Nigerian people need to be asking the Nigerian government now is, who are these individuals who have been claiming for the past 2 years to be negotiating on behalf of, Boko Haram and the Chibok girl and Boko Haram and Nigerian government for the Chibok girls? Who are they? Let them come out. How much have you given them? Because you remember, politicians have come out, and even from the presidency, they said that many people have come out that they want to give information or help, but they've only been interested in the monetary aspect of this thing. So we know now that what Boko Haram is saying and what the government is saying is actually aligned. Because the government has said most people that have been coming out have been requesting for money, and Boko Haram are now saying that the people that have been saying they are negotiating on their behalf are not negotiating on their behalf. So that means that those people should be arrested, because they should be asking them, who are your contacts that made you have that much confidence to come to approach the federal government. But the other issue here is that there are a lot of issues to do with how the military is handling this issue. And I think what the Nigerian people need to be demanding at this moment, this critical moment, because this is a critical moment, is that we want a change in the strategy. And the change in strategy, even the Boso local government crisis, where the military, some military personnel were killed and the military destroyed some places. The recommendation from the chair that handled that commission said the military should be removed from getting involved in internal issues. And these are things that we've been calling for a long time, that this military involvement in internal issues should be reduced. The Nigerian police should be empowered to do what they've been trained to do. There are so many detectives in Nigeria who are responsible for dealing with anti-kidnapping and things like that. Bring them on board. Bring psychologists. Bring all these individuals that know about this thing. What the military know about is raiding a place, handling this kind of issues, hostage handling, but not to be doing investigation. How many times have you had? There was a sitting senator, I think a legislator, that said that he got a phone call that one of the Chibok girls had been married out. This also aligns with what the Boko Haram people are saying now, that 40 of the girls have been married out in Chad. Now, if a sitting senator said somebody was in Chad, has Nigerian government sent anybody, or the Nigerian police or the Nigerian military sent anybody to Chad, liaising with our embassy there to find out where that girl is? No. We don't know about it. Have they set up, do they have a team looking into all the stories that were in the newspaper about where these girls were? No, we don't know anything. And when somebody comes up with a video, you then arrest them and declare them enemy of the state. That is not the right way of handling this issue.
No, so you're very correct there. Yeah. But one of the things which we have to also understand is, when it comes to negotiating between non-state groups, which are like a group like Boko Haram and the government, you need people with pre-existing relationships. Now, if you want to arrest, everybody, because the army is not in charge of fighting this kind of war with Boko Haram.
That's true.
It's not a conventional war. True. So it's a war that is fought within the communities.
Yeah.
So you need people who have that link, or who had links before even the crisis began, to be able to intervene. And these three particular individuals, I mentioned them because, I know their background and I've met them. Ahmed Sakida is one I haven't met because, Ahmed Sakida, he left Nigeria and went to United Arab Emirates because, his life was in danger. Yeah. He was the first individual who negotiated, with Stephen Davis and Barrister Aisha Wakil, for the first release of the Chibok girls. So these are people who the government is aware of. And these are people, as I said before, they've had a pre-existing relationship with the government. The military does not have the capability to look at issues of investigation and issues of intelligence. We have a lot of foreign
But what's the purpose of the intelligence department of the Nigerian?
Yes, that's what I was coming to that, because the intelligence and surveillance department, we've had a lot of foreign helps from different countries abroad coming saying we will help Nigeria to provide intelligence and surveillance, we'll train the army, but we still haven't seen any of the report cards in terms of, what have they done with the intelligence and the surveillance. So we're still waiting for them to show us what they've done. Now, the Nigerian army does not have that capability at the moment to deal with, this kind of investigation because they are overstretched. So I think it's very important for them to have people within the communities, a community-based strategy that they can approach some of these individuals.
If they are now picking up people in the community who have been working with them in the past and declaring them enemy of the state, will the community be able to trust the Nigerian government, the Nigerian army coming forward to say, look, let's sort this out?
Of course, they won't be able to.
Let's even look at it from a different perspective. Yes. The Terrorism Act of 2011 that we're looking at, does the military actually has the legal backing to declare anybody wanted in a democratic setting? I'm not against the military. I love the military. They know I love them.
They have a state of emergency, so I think they do have.
What state of emergency do they have?
In the north, so.
No, that state of emergency is another issue because we know that these guys are not in that area. We know that the state of emergency needs to be renewed by the National Assembly. We've not had anything about the state of emergency being renewed under President Muhammad Buhari. So that is an issue because we know it's the NSA that actually has that power under the Terrorism Act of 2011. So there are a lot of questions. In a democratic setting, is the Inspector General of Police who should be declaring anybody wanted. It should be the one, even when the issue of the incident in Kaduna, Kaduna State, where the military killed a lot of people in Zaria. It should be the police that should be investigating.
In advanced world, like countries like USA, I think the FBI or the CIA will be the one declaring people wanted.
Of course.
In the UK, maybe MET or MI5 or MI6.
But they work together.
Yeah, but before even we drift towards a comparative strategy, looking at different Western countries, the current administration, the federal government and, the military has been doing extremely well in terms of, their military campaign.
Are you sure of that?
Now, the problem is, the military campaign has an extent that it can go. Now, at this point in time in northern Nigeria, you need a community-based strategy. And you can only implement a community-based strategy by using powerful members within the communities who have pre-existing relationships with some of these members of Boko Haram in order for you to come to a state of dialogue, if you want to dialogue. Because the Nigerian government has accepted that we are looking into dialoguing. We are happy to dialogue if we have the right people to dialogue to, if we know who we are talking to. And this for me seems to be an opportunity for them to look at a transparent system of dialogue, put in place by individuals who have a pre-existing relationship.
Has the Nigerian Army not thwarted the opportunity by declaring people who have been in the forefront of resolving this crisis as enemy of the state?
Of course, they might have, because one of the things which you have to also understand, in terms of, the benefit and the interest, in some countries we've seen, some of the military do not want to see see some of this insurgency go because they benefit from it. So there are certain circumstances whereby, when a solution is coming on board, people thwart it for their own individual reasons. It's possible.
The question I want to ask you is this. I mean, that video seems to have triggered something in the Nigerian Army and the Nigerian government. The release of that video, far from what Boko Haram would do, just upload it. That video was sent to media houses in Nigeria and international, and which trigger, and that video seemed to have blown open certain things that ordinarily maybe Mr. President or Mr. Vice President or the Security Council were probably not aware of, in terms of who they claim they've been have been acting on behalf of the government and Boko Haram, or in terms of the level of attack on Boko Haram, or in terms of the level of success declared by Boko Haram. How much damage did that video do to the ego of the Nigerian army that will have made them declare as enemy of state people who have been working with them?
Yeah, it has done a lot of damage. It's all about the narrative, and it's about counter-narrative. The counter-narrative from the Boko Haram sect is, we have these girls, we're in control of them. You can't grab them away from us, because where we are, you have no knowledge of where we are. Not only that alone, you are the one responsible for the death of these girls that you are meant to be saving. You can save them by giving us our people who you're holding in different areas. And this video aligns with the other previous videos that have been coming out from this group. So the video from the CNN, which all the individuals, all the girls in there have been identified as part of the Chibok girls. And now this video, you could see the girls there, you could see these girls speaking in the dialect and confirming that the military is actually responsible for the death of some of their friends, or their casualty of war. That is the situation. But I think we also need to go back to what this gentleman said to you when he was speaking to you. He said it seems as if the military is only interested in knowing where the Boko Haram people are, so that they could go there and bombard them. And these more
that's probably why those guys have been picked up now. Look, you've been interfacing with them. You certainly know where they are. Give us information about where they are.
And these are very simple things. If you look at it from a technological perspective, what number do they call you on? If you get a number, or you're able to hold these guys to get them to call, you could use satellite imageries and things like that to be able to find out where these people are. But is it about killing these people, or is it about making sure that you ensure peace and safety in Nigeria? Because the bottom line is that we've been talking about de-radicalization and bringing these people back and containing these people. But how many people has Nigerian government been able to de-radicalize? We don't have any figure. How much have they spent? Billions or millions?
Okay.
And we don't know what is
David,
yes.
There are two groups of Boko Haram.
Yeah.
This video actually have come to confirm that the other group is a counterfeit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that this other group that released the video is the original group. Is it possible that the Nigerian army and certain individuals within the community in government have been using this other fake group to swindle the government, to pass the wrong information to the government, and pass wrong information to the Nigerian people. Now, this other video now has actually blown up the lies of the other group and of the other party. Could that have actually been why there has been a kind of... And Mr. President said, look,
you told us
things are moving in the right direction. Things are moving in the right direction. But what we've seen in this latest video did not show things are... So who are these other groups that you have been...
I think one of the things we have to understand is, if we believe any of the videos, in the first place, because yes, Boko Haram.
That video, you cannot fault that video.
No, let me tell you, because Boko Haram, which was known as the Islamic State of West African Province, was plagued by ISIL itself, because ISIL declared demoted Abubakar Shekau to only control Boko Haram in Nigeria, and they made Abu Musab al-Banawi the leader of the Islamic State of West African Province. So at that point in time, Shekau's faction comes up with a video to say, we have most of the girls. And in that video, they say that, the government cannot find where the girls are. In the same video, they say that the government has bombarded some of the girls. So that tells us that the government knows where the girls are. So there is a possibility that the government is getting too close to them, or the military or the air force is getting too close to them in such a way that they are feeling the heat, and they come up with the video to say, oh, these are the girls, in order to get the military to withdraw from striking. So you have to take that into consideration. Secondly, the video could be a strategy by Shekau to show the world, and most importantly, the Islamic State, that he has control of the girls, and that despite the fact that he's been dethroned, he still has control of the girls. And also to assure some of his militants, because mind you, about 8 of his top commanders have been taken away by Abu Musab al-Banawi, who is the son of Mohammed Yusuf. So I think, this video has to be looked at from different perspectives, depending on which angle you want to look at it from. Because he says in the video, I want to negotiate. But, at the same time, in April 2014, they came up with this guy called, I think he called himself, I've forgotten his name, I think Daudu, Mohammed Daudu. He came up and said, the president of Chad came and, of Chad said, Mohammed Daudu was the new leader of Boko Haram, and Boko Haram was ready to negotiate. A week after, Shekau came and said that was a lie. So they've had this consistency of coming up. Last time, 3 months ago, they came up with a video with 15 girls, which was released by CNN. And they came up and said they wanted to negotiate. That story disappeared in the media after a week. This story is also going to disappear in the media after a week. So what we should look at, is how should the government approach this? Is this a strategy by Boko Haram to get the government to relax and stop their efforts of bombing them because they've been targeting the girls or targeting where these people are, and they're saying, oh, if we show the girls, because there is a huge hashtag of the Chibok girls, the international media would run riots, and call on the government, to rescue the Chibok girls, thereby stopping the military from doing what they have been doing. So we have to look at it from different perspectives, depending of if this video is genuine.
I think it's important to understand for many of us that are in this world of counterterrorism and dealing with this thing at a practical level, that in every counterterrorism group or in every of these terrorist cells, they will always be split. I just came back from Borno. I was there, about less than 2 weeks ago, and I met with all the commanders, in the civilian JTF, who are controlling over 26,000 people that are working for them. And many of their members have been killed, and the government is talking about Operation Safe Corridor to bring these people back. And they're a bit worried, because these are people that they know that are their neighbors, that have killed their brothers or killed their sisters or killed their aunties. This is real life. This is not just theory anymore.
Of course.
This is practical. And we need to understand that whichever way you're looking at it, Nigerian government need to completely review the counter-terrorism strategy that is being deployed at the moment, because there is a big difference between what they are telling the people out here and what is really happening. It's not the way it is, and they need to revisit what they're doing. Otherwise, these girls, the little ones that are left, because if you minus 40 from the ones that have been killed, the ones that are left now, we need to be very careful that nothing happens to them. And their blood will be on those people who are not making the right decision.
All right, let's go on a very short break now. Let's quickly take a short break. When we take a short break, we'll open the phone line, if we can, for a few minutes to pick up your calls. Don't go, just a short break, we'll be back.
A woman with a bright price on her head, pregnant for the crown prince.
You can fix this. My request is word.
From yours.
Do you have any cutlery?
Bavidi Luxury Hotel, the newest home away from home in the Nigerian hospitality industry. 10 minutes only from the local and international airports. It's the perfect spot for your relaxation whenever you are in Lagos. 24-hour non-stop electricity, cozy and colorful rooms, Wi-Fi internet connection, and flat-screen cable television. Bavidi Luxury Hotel. Our exquisite restaurant and full bar are simply second to none in taste and style. Bavidi Luxury Hotel. We are located at the posh, serene neighborhood in the Ikeja Business District. Your satisfaction is our first concern, so we train our staff to be professional and personable. Bavidi Luxury Hotel, number 20 Moshood Abiola Crescent, Ikeja, Lagos. Telephone +234 1291 7929 +234 708 287 7512. Bavidi Luxury Hotel, the new home away from home.
Let's open the phone line. Let's see if we can take one or two calls, and then we bring the program to a close on the program today. Okay, guys. So, what is the way forward? Tokwe, let me start with you.
Okay.
What is the way forward in this matter? Now, we've got people who have been working with the government, trusted by Boko Haram, trusted by the Nigerian army, trusted by the Nigerian government, suddenly declared enemy of the state. What is the way forward in this matter?
My suggestion to the Nigerian government and to the leadership of the military is that they should slow down, take a big breath, and not charge these guys with their threat of terrorism, trying them under Terrorism Act. They should try and avoid that. Sit down and find out what these individuals could do to assist, and then call on many Nigerians who have different expertise that could provide a new roadmap on how to move things forward. But more importantly, I'm calling on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is responsible for every Nigerian, to set up a new task force to deal with this thing, headed by the Nigerian police, supported by the military. I think the military have done enough, and they should concentrate on dealing with Niger Delta Avengers, the Fulani herdsmen, and the issue of Boko Haram mopping up. I think they should be removed completely from actually working on the Chibok girls issue, because they don't have the skill set to deal with it.
All right. The Nigerian government has insisted that they will not release any of the, they will not engage in exchange of release of prisoners. Is it out of tune to have government releasing, exchanging prisoners? Has it never been done before, where you have armed groups say, release our members and then we'll get you what we want? It has happened even in America.
Yes, I mean, we've had...
why is the Nigerian government saying they cannot do that?
I think you have to look, we have to look at the context of which we're talking about. We're talking about a Salafist jihadist organization like Boko Haram, which who has members who are not, afraid to die. They're prepared to kill at any time. So this is different from a nationalist organization that is looking for independence. So those ones you can talk to them because they have a political ambition.
I'm sorry, I need to cut you short at this time because I need to call out the program.
Okay, thanks.
We're going to have to continue this at some other time. I'm going to have. Okay. Let's look how this is unfolding, yes. And then I'm going to have to bring you guys back again. We'll look at it. Hopefully, by the end of the week, we'll see where the Nigerian government is going with these guys that have been declared wanted and arrested. Gentlemen, thank you for being part of
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Lodo,
my pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Tunde Labi. It's been a pleasure having you join us on the program. Enjoy the rest of your night.